Space News 96. Hello, thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. This is Marie, with another edition of Space News. Welcome to my channel. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. I am writing this on the morning of August 15th, 2025. To start with, I have more detailed information about tectonic movements, earthquakes, and magma displacements which activate volcanoes on Earth. As usual, the system on Earth, the Matrix, to call it somehow, is blaming it all on environmental change, climate alteration, and usually blaming simple human citizens for it, because of their little four-cylinder car engines, and cow rear-end winds, and things like that. I see that blaming it all on human private transportation is a direct attack against private independence of movement, business, and freedom in general, and it is in alignment with other agendas such as the 15-minute cities and so on, while blaming cows and their emissions goes against farms, sustainable and independent private food supplies, the weakening of human physiology in general, and so on. There is another strong tendency to blame tectonic movements and magma displacements on the Sun, but our data here does not support that very much, as we rather connect it to secret society solar worship, which is Atonism, or the worshipping of Aten, the sun disk, and goes back to ancient Egypt. And yes, that is still very much alive inside secret societies. In their minds, blaming tectonic and volcanic activity on the Sun is exactly like saying that God did it. All while conveniently ignoring the very real artificial component, which they will always deny. You can know more about where a piece of information or a piece of data comes from if you can read the hidden symbolism often found behind everything. Although beware of this, as their symbols are everywhere on Earth, it is easy to blame someone, while they may have done so entirely by accident, as using loaded symbology is quite inevitable, as even common words are loaded, especially in English. Although the Sun and even the Moon do hold some influence over tectonic movement by simple tide effects, what we are seeing from up here is an artificially caused chain reaction, meaning that the recent earthquakes are, at least mostly, artificially triggered. What they are using is a strong electromagnetic array which is transmitting directed energy in microwave frequencies. As it is an array, the microwaves are not coming from only one source, but from many that focus their energy on the desired target weak spot between tectonic plates. These microwave arrays are coming from land-based installations and from mobile ones as well, mostly from specialized ships at sea under the disguise of being movable electric power plants, but in reality, they are gigantic electromagnetic dynamos. With them, they can get very close to the target weak spot they have previously detected with powerful systems, which include ground-penetrating radar, connected to computerized systems that interpret the elaborate data. We have also detected such microwave generating systems mounted on large trucks, and although in comparison with the land-based ones and the sea ships, they do not produce much power on their own, but it all adds up. They all focus their microwave transmissions on the detected weak spot, and they bombard it constantly until the tectonic displacement is achieved. What they target is not the weak spot directly, but the closest deep underground, large enough water pocket. The very concentrated high-energy microwaves excite the water molecules, exactly like inside a common microwave oven, vaporizing much of it, causing a drop of pressure in that area underground because of the loss of water in the pocket, and because of its displacement as highly pressurized vapor, thus disturbing the equilibrium of the area, and sometimes causing a displacement. This does not always work, as we have detected that they must do this multiple times and in adjacent spots until the effect is achieved. But around 60% of the time, a tectonic displacement is triggered after they have repeatedly bombarded it with microwave arrays. When a tectonic displacement is achieved, there is a large shift in weight and subterranean pressure equilibrium and dynamics, which causes liquid magma to be displaced as well, as it is squeezed by the moving plates, and this in turn upsets the connected volcanoes, which act like pressure valves. A tectonic displacement does not necessarily have to be close to any specific volcanoes to activate them, as the Earth is a connected system, and complicated underground chain reactions are also at play here. Even when they constantly change their transmitting microwave frequencies, we have managed to neutralize at least some of the biggest aerials, but they are sometimes using hundreds of microwave sources all focused on the same spot, so our achievements are only partial up to now, but we are hard at work improving this. Right now, some stack craft are equipped with microwave counter-frequency generators, as we go testing them for improvements, and we have high hopes that we can transmit neutralizing counter-frequencies also as arrays coming from multiple stack craft shortly. In the meantime, I must reiterate our warning for the entire Pacific coast of Latin America, specifically Mexico, which we see as the nation which is most in danger, even above Chile, which would be the most logical assumption if the quakes were natural. This does not exclude other parts of the world with a rich history of tectonic movements, which can also be targeted by those psychopaths of the cabal, playing with technology that they hide from the people, or volcanoes that may affect regions which may be far away from the last earthquake. As a last note, I strongly discourage the use of household microwave ovens as they are known to destroy the food, causing molecular changes that turn it into toxic caricatures of what they once were, in an effect that is quite similar to the one produced when food is replicated, and that is why we do not do so. The effects on the human body of eating microwaved food are similar to those of eating replicated equivalents. Moving on to the next piece of news, and with a very different subject, I must inform you that two of the most notorious starships in my fleet orbiting Earth have returned to Tema in Taygeta. Starships, Sadicleya and Enterprise are now on the surface of planet Tema in their large covered hangars, where they will remain for now. The name Sadicleya comes from the second son of the Taygeta star system, known as the Tau 19 binary system, where Taygeta is Tau 19A, and Sadicleya is Tau 19b. I named the other ship, Enterprise, as a tribute to the people of Earth and one of their most iconic space series and movies. The reason they were sent home is that they are both equipped as yachts with beautiful interiors, including natural gardens and spaces which need a lot of maintenance. They are not warships, so they may be vulnerable if something happens around Earth. With those 500 Orion ships lurking around, things may turn ugly fast. I am glad to inform you that the well-known crew of Starship Sadicleya has now joined the crew of the same starship I am in, which, for safety reasons, I cannot say its name, of course. And I must also state that I do move from one ship to another in my fleet for the same reason. I am very happy because with my old friends around me here, I no longer eat alone, as I now have them at my table and close to me in every way. And I am once more accompanied by my sisters Tina and Yazhi. Moving on to the next related piece of news, I am glad to inform you that the second Aldebaran-class dreadnought starship has now been completed and has joined our fleet orbiting planet Earth. Welcome to the fleet, Starship Elnath and her valiant crew, who are the same ones that were manning Starship Sadicleya, as they simply parked her in her hangar in Toleka City, Tema, and jumped on board the new Elnath, and brought her here. Welcome to the fray, Captain Elril of Tema and First Officer Kaal'el of Viera, who was the one who actually commanded the ship during its maiden voyage from Tema to Earth, in its initial hyperspace jump, while Captain Elril supervised the new engines and systems from engineering. The starship Elnath, named after the star known to you as Beta Tauri, or Tau 112, which is the second brightest star of the constellation of Taurus, after the orange giant Aldebaran, also known as Alpha Tauri, or Tau 87. Elnath is the perfect name for the second of the brand new Aldebaran-class dreadnoughts, which will eventually replace the capable but aging Alcyone-class dreadnoughts. The large or main Taygetan starships that remain in low Earth orbit are the following. The next are classified in human terms as dreadnought battleships. Starship Alcyone, with Captain Goriel. Starship Asterope, with Captain Tharil. Starship Atlas with Captain Sergel. Starship Aldebaran, with Captain Maxell. And Starship Elnath with Captain Elril. The following are classified in human terms as escort destroyers. Starship Hyades, with Captain Jordell. And Starship Sindriel, with Captain Niza Ovid, formerly from the Vigilant Eagle. And the last ship of the fleet here, which is classified as a multiple-purpose support vessel. The Starship Saskatchewan, with Captain Yamila. This is the state of the Taygetan fleet, in mid-August 2025. There are no new movements to report up here in Earth's orbit for now, and things are apparently quite peaceful except for the Alfratans and their tendency to crash. As a last note for today, I know many of you have been questioning where the Alfratans get their booze, so I had that investigated, and although they are still drinking some human-imported alcohol, this has drastically dropped since there is no allowance for them at this time, none at all, so they cannot get any more of it. The problem is that, as they lack human-made one, they have resorted to producing their own alcohol, which has proven to be a lot more toxic as it is too concentrated and badly made, which in turn causes even more accidents and all sorts of problems among them. This addiction did come as the result of negative influence from Earth through the secret space program, and it is only concentrated on their fleet here, as it has not reached their planet Alphrata, in Alpha Centauri, as declared by their High Command, who has also issued an order to research the problem and to stop it before it reaches their general population and before it causes more problems herewith, and among their fleet. One last explanatory note. Remember that the initial crew of around 30 people of the Sadicleya were on the old Toleka before, and when they moved to Sadicleya, they were later joined by a large crew of 450 coming from several other starships under Goriel's command. These other 450 are now manning the new starship Elnath, without the 30 of the Sadicleya who are on my ship now, with a few exceptions. Some other new crew members fresh from Tema have also joined the original 450. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps this channel grow a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love and appreciation, your friend, Marie.